Mario with Microlight once again, and this is just a glimpse at one of the ultralights. This is based on the Sky Cycle. If you go online and just type Sky Cycle RC Ultralight, you'll stumble on something similar. Now, I don't like to duplicate ultralights in every detail, because when I build these things, I put my own touches and ways of doing things, and I use specific hardware, so it's no longer a replica of the real thing. But there's quite a bit of inspiration that gets taken from the real ultralights, in order to arrive at the ones that I've been showing, via my website and also my YouTube channel. And and as I show, when I go to the field and show people, my designs. So this is based on the Sky Cycle, which has got a triangular frame. Of course, this frame is a little bit different. I removed some of the extra triangles that are part of the real Sky Cycle, and just to kill some of that complexity in assembling that, so I decided to go with this layout here, as you see it here. But it's got some of the elements. The motor, it's almost like a real aircraft, like a Piper, say for instance, in terms of where the motor is located, in reference to the whole aircraft, and in some of the basic airframe shape. If this was covered with material, this would probably look like a little bit like on a Piper aircraft. Pipers tend to be, some Pipers are single seater and some are dual tandem seat aircraft. This has got the front section here, which comes all the way and supports the wing, and which also acts as a frame for the windshield. And it's got the motor directly in the nose, in line with the horizontal stabilizer. It is an ultralight because it's an ultralight airplane. The way Microlight defines RC ultralights is that the airplane has to be an airframe, an open airframe, where the pilot is in the open cockpit. Most of the airplane needs to be open frame. The wings have to be lightweight, made out of a camber, single sheet lightweight material, or ripstop nylon. Most of the ones that I've been showing lately have this single sheet camber wings, and that's how I define these things as true ultralights. A wing that's fully flat bottom or symmetrical is no longer, in my perspective, an ultralight. And that can vary depending how people like to define these things, but in my perspective, like I said, this is how I define a true radio control ultralight. Right now I'm working on the tail section here. I've reinforced all these parts with carbon rods, and that's one of the things that must be done when you use lightweight materials, such as the ones that I'm using here. This is all core fluid. It's one of the lightest and thinnest core fluid materials that I was able to get direct from the manufacturer. And so what I've done is I've cut all these parts, but without these carbon rods, the material tends to be a little flimsy. And so to reinforce that and to give it more rigidity, this remains pretty straight, and you don't need to put too many hinge clips, on the frame. All you need is just one spar there, or one bar of the right diameter carbon, and that keeps the horizontal stabilizer nice and straight. In order to obtain this 90-degree bend here and maintain that 90-degree stability there, I've used an angle section here to hold the vertical stabilizer. That whole section is sitting on these two bars that run to the front of the aircraft and that meet at the corner here. So it's kind of a triangulation right here that holds this whole wing. In addition to that, I'll be using carbon rods, to brace the sides and provide additional bracing, so this does not flex as you see it here. The flexing is because I have not finished installing or connecting the bracing here. So that'll come. I'm working on that, and that's what I'm doing right now. So, the other thing that I need to do is I need to attach the control surfaces. Now I have my own way of doing control horns here, and it's using the same hardware that we use throughout all our products, and that's just to stay consistent with the aesthetics of it. I have used the horns that you can buy over the counter, and you know, but those require little screws, and you know, it's a different setup. I like to just go from this bolt here directly to my control horn. You see that? And it keeps it nice and stiff, and there's no need to go with extra hardware, you know, for control horns that you buy over the counter. If you just, you know, just do what I typically do on all Mia Microlight products, is we use our own setup and our own hardware. Same thing applies to the ailerons. That's the control for the flaperons. These are flaperons, by the way. The wing is the same wing that I've been using on the Phantom Ultralight. I did a video not too long ago of that, and you can see that on my YouTube channel. So basically, the wings, the nice thing about these ultralights is that I can reuse that wing on pretty much every single ultralight that I've created, you know, that is a 16-inch wingspan, because I also use the same components, the same parts, the same retainers for the wings. It's the same thing. I mean, why change something, and you know, when you don't need to, and everything's the same. You know, you establish a standard size and everything just fits, you know, everything just connects. Assembling most of these ultralights, my whole idea with this, you see my camera's still rolling. My whole idea with this concept of doing the ultralights, as I'm doing, as Mia Microlight has been doing it, is you know, I come from the my dad gave me an erector set when I was very young, and I still remember that toy, and so I've been, you know, when I assemble these things, I like to have parts that I can take apart, reuse, and pretty much just let my imagination go wild with those parts. So I need parts that are very flexible and in terms of being reusable and being able to be used in very creative ways. And so this is one of the reasons for selecting all the hardware that I supply with my particular ultralight and gyrocopter, and pretty much Microlights and every single other product Mia Microlight designs here. Lately, we've been doing a lot of, you know, ultralights, because this is the area that I'm into right now at this stage in life. You know, most of you that have been following me on Microlight will remember the micro helicopters. I mean, I started with little micro helicopters, and that goes back to many years ago, when I started playing with rubber powered helicopters. I mean, when you know, I was working for you know, just right out of school, I was working for a company, and I stayed there, you know, a good 11-12 years. During that time, I was experimenting with rubber-powered helicopters, and the type of helicopters I was making were not just single-powered, you know, rubber band. They were very complex machines that I was trying to you know, to build, and just to try to get a feel for, you know, understanding helicopters in a very simple form, while at the same time providing kits, you know, for those people that were looking at my stuff and finding it interesting. So that's how I got started. Then I went on to free flight electric helicopters, and then I started with the micro, palm size, and sub-micro helicopters. It's all part of Mia Microlight history, and pretty much, you know, that's how we got established. But and so, you know, I'm not too much concerned whether people really like this, or it's going to be a hit, or it's going to go viral. And you know, when I do videos, you know, the way I do these things is, you know, I take it to the field, I show people, those people like it. Some will buy some of these things either on the spot, or will email me directly. And from there, other people see it, and you know, the word gets passed around, and that's how these models get distributed. That's how I make and sell these products. You know, I don't even advertise besides my website, which has not been updated for a while, and my YouTube channel. But I still sell these things. You know, if you get a hold of somebody, if you've seen me fly these things at the field, if you like it, you know, just get a hold of me via my email and tell me you want a kit of this. I'll send you a total via PayPal, and that's how we're taking care of things. Until I can, you know, find the time to restructure my website. The main thing is with these is when you have a long tail section such as this one, is, you know, just trying to get the CG to about 25 to 30% from the leading edge of the wing. You know, you want that thing to balance with the battery. So this one doesn't have the battery, but here's the battery that I'm planning on using. This is a Graphene 3.0. This will probably sit right there. I need to make a special bracket for that. so it'll balance where it needs to be. And look at that, it's balancing perfectly. So on this one here with the motor at the front, it's balancing a lot easier than the Aerolite that I just did, and I showed that in another video. I pulled the Aerolite out of my table last night, and I pulled this one out of my garage because it was it needed some work. I mean, I started this design with the intention of finishing it, but sometimes, you know, I start something and I don't get to finish it because other ideas pop into my head, and sometimes, you know, some ideas overpower some other ones, and that's how I work. And some people, just mainly companies, they don't work like that because they're bound by deadlines. And I'm just not one of those people that you know, that like to work around deadlines. You get a much better product if you take your time and you're not in a hurry, and you're not putting out something that must meet a deadline and must you know, be strict by the rules. So I am just that kind of person, you know, and that's why I don't work for anybody. And I started working for myself because I found that I work a lot better alone. It allows me to concentrate on things that I want to do, and I really want to do what I want to do. You know, I don't want to do what other people want me to do. So this is one of the reasons why me and Microlight has done all the cool stuff. It's like that nobody else will. And sometimes, you know, it's because of that reason, because companies are bound by dollars, by deadlines, by all these things that are, for me, they stifle my creativity. One of the reasons I left, you know, a corporation that I used to work for as an engineer is that I found that there was too much red tape going on in that company, you know, and I worked for many years there. But at the end, I was just tired of the red tape. That I wasn't doing the stuff that I really wanted to do, and this is the stuff that I wanted to do. I went from an engineering position, you know, to doing models, and some people may see that as a step back, but in my point of view, it's you know, it has kept my sanity. It's something that I really wanted to do, so there's nothing wrong with that. And to those viewers who are thinking about this and paying a little attention to what I'm saying, I would say, you know, pick something that you truly like to do. If you like working with your hands and building wood assemblies, cabinets, do that. You know, if you like working with metal, do that. The main thing, as far as I'm concerned, is, you know, when your mind is at ease and you're allowed to project your true self in what you do and do it to the best of your abilities, something that you can almost perhaps do it with your eyes closed and not have to think about it too much and not have to worry about it. You're putting your whole body, your whole universe is going into that product, into that thing that you're creating. And if others are appreciating that and buying that from you, that's even better, because you are transferring that energy, that level, that excitement, that product that you just created to somebody else who is, you know, who's perhaps on the same level as you are, as far as you know, appreciating what they're seeing in front of their eyes, what they're holding it, what they're maneuvering, what they're controlling. So I am of that opinion. I am of that direction, and this is how me and Microlight was started. Once again, the Mia Sky Cycle, in the style of the Sky Cycle, you know, with Mia's own elements, design and assembly, and hardware elements, as we have been employing on the Quicksilver and the Phantom, and some other ultralights that I'm showing. Behind me, there are some other products that I'm working on, and as you can see, it's a little crazy here. You know, when I work like this, I don't like to be neat about this, because I need a bolt, I need a tube, I need a wire. You know, I'll cut it, I'll put it on my table, I'll grab it, and I'll tweak it. It's like working with clay. You know, you can't be neat when you work with clay, because when you work with clay and you want to mold something, you got to take little chunks and pieces, and you know, and it's like a painter. You know, a true painter grabs the plate where he has all the paints, and he drops all these colors, and he's mixing, and he's trying all these things, and he's tweaking it. I'm the same way with this. So this is my palette. I call it my painter's palette.